welcome to Chairman of the Board with me, Dan Honeyball. Now I'm really excited about today's episode because we're going to be talking about the Resistance Avalon. Now this is a 5 to 10 player social deduction game of secret identities, deduction and deception. So I'm going to give a brief overview of the rules and then get into the review. So I hope you enjoyed the video and let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to explain how the Resistance Avalon works in a simple and quick way. So essentially, at the beginning of the game, players are distributed a random role card. Now these role cards cannot be shown to any player at any time. And those teams, or those roles, are broken up into two teams. We have the loyal servants of Arthur, whose intentions are good, and they want to essentially successfully complete a number of quests. And we have the evil minions of Mordred, who want to sabotage any quest that the loyal servants of Arthur go on. Now there's a little twist here because the loyal servants of Arthur don't know who each other are, but the evil minions of Mordred do, but they are a lot smaller in number. Now the game plays out on this questing track here, broken up into 5 separate quests. And this number here represents the amount of people who need to go on those quests. So what will happen is that a player will be given the role of the first player, and they will propose a team to go on that quest. And to do that, they essentially say they nominate. Basically, they might nominate themselves and another player. And then every player playing the game will be given one of these 2 tokens, either reject or approve. And to do this, they simply choose whether they want to approve that team to go on the mission, or they think that one of them might be an evil minion and reject that team. So once they do this, they essentially place their vote face down on the table, and then everybody will reveal it at the same time. And this is all done publicly, so you can see what everyone else is voting. And if that team is rejected, then the vote track will actually move up 1 slot. And if that slot moves to 5, then the evil team win. But that doesn't really happen very often. So if everyone did approve, then those 2 players are sent on the quest. And then they are then given these 2 cards here, either a success card or a fail card. Now, if a loyal servant of Arthur goes on the mission, they have to vote success. If an evil minion of Mordred is on that team, then they can vote success or fail. And to successfully pass a quest, every card has to reveal success. So these are shuffled in together first, I must add, so that you don't know who's voted what. So if all the cards are successful, then a success marker is planted on that quest card. And if 3 out of the 5 quests are successes, then the good guys win. But if a single fail card is amongst those vote cards in the stack there, then a fail marker is placed on the track. And again, if the majority of those votes are fails, then the minions of Mordred win. But as you can see, as the quests progress, you need to send more players on them. So it's really a game of weaning out who you think the minions of Mordred are. So there are a lot. This is essentially how the game works, but there are a lot of other kind of variations and little twists that can be added to this game, and I'm going to go into that now. Okay, so those are essentially the basics of Avalon, but there are so many other layers and dimensions to this game, and I'm going to cover probably the coolest aspect of it right now. And that is the role of Merlin. Now Merlin is actually on the team of the loyal servants of Arthur, and he actually knows who all the minions of Mordred are. But there's a caveat to this, because he can't actually tell the loyal servants of Arthur who the minions of Mordred are, at least not in so many words. And that's because of the evil assassin who is on the team of the minions of Mordred. So essentially, at the end of the game, if the servants of Arthur win, then the assassin has an opportunity to choose who he thinks Merlin is. And if the player with the assassin card successfully identifies Merlin, then the bad guys still win. So the role of Merlin actually requires a lot of intelligence and subtle clues that he can provide to his other loyal servants of Arthur. And that dynamic is fantastic. It really works well, especially in groups of more players, or higher player counts, I should say. So I'm going to go into what I love about this game. Okay, so first things first, I have to admit that social deduction games are a personal favourite. So that might influence this review somewhat, but it has to be said that there's something special about the Resistance Avalon. I've never known a game to elicit such an emotional response from the players. The game just oozes tension and drama and paranoia. I mean, to be good at this game, you really need a level of psychological and emotional intelligence, and also a great amount of manipulation skills, either if you're on the Minions of Mordred side or the Servants of Arthur side. I mean, to persuade the other players to think how you're thinking, it really is a challenge, and it facilitates a great amount of interaction between each other and accusations and just flat out just confrontation. And I just love that aspect of the game. I mean, I also love that the clues that you can pick up while playing this game are pretty subtle. I mean, essentially you're pretty much using the way that people are voting to conclude who you think the Minions of Mordred are. I mean, apart from any kind of body language or personal kind of opinion, and also the influence of Merlin. I mean, that's all you've got to go on, really. And I think that kind of really builds that element of suspense, because you're never quite sure. I mean, you can have your doubts, but you're never 100% sure. Also, all the components in this game are beautiful. I mean, the artwork is fantastic, and all the tiles are very robust, and I don't think they're going to, wear out any time, well, if you're going to have to play this game a lot to damage those tiles. I mean, I would recommend sleeving the cards, because any kind of defacing of those cards can really it'll ruin the game, because people know what role you are. I also love that there's no downtime in this game. That sometimes in social deduction games there's a lot of kind of eyes closed moments, where in this it's simply the initial step when the roles are distributed. And from then on in, it's an open forum. You can see exactly what everyone else is seeing. I mean, in Werewolf, you've got the roles like the villager. In this, there's none of that. Everyone is involved at all times. There's no times to talk, like no delegated times to talk. Everyone can throw their 2 cents in whenever they want. And it's unreal. The interaction of the game is out of this world. So that's my general consensus of this game, and as you can probably tell, I'm a huge fan of it. So I'm going to go into a few little things that maybe can be improved upon. So let's go into that. So, as with all social deduction games, they are very kind of player driven, and the Resistance Avalon is no different. So for players with more kind of type B personalities, or players who don't like confrontation or accusing their friends of lying, then this game probably isn't going to be a good fit. But once you kind of get a player over that hurdle, then you can really enjoy this game to its max. But I mean, I've witnessed that players simply don't like this kind of confrontation, so it's something to bear in mind. I also think that the whole Merlin aspect, I mean, although it's an amazing idea, sometimes it can be a bit anticlimactic, and that is because even if the loyal servants of Arthur play a perfect game, there's always that chance that victory can be snatched away, even through pot luck. So that's something to bear in mind as well. I mean, it works a lot better at higher player counts, because obviously the odds of locating Merlin are smaller. So that's something to bear in mind. And this game does work a lot better at higher player counts. I mean, it still works well at lower player counts, but you might want to consider taking the whole Merlin and Assassin role cards out of the game completely. I also think this game could really benefit from maybe a professional app on the App Store to provide that initial narrative of the setup. So, you know, such as like games like Werewolf have that professional app to aid the player's setup. I mean, it's not a big issue, but I thought it might kind of give a bit of a polish to this game. I mean, that's it really. I mean, so I'm going to go straight into the conclusion. Okay, so wow, what can I say about the Resistance Avalon? Well, it's hard to kind of explain how good this game is in a 5 or 10 minute video, but I hope I've kind of helped in some way. This game really is the holy grail of social deduction games. The kind of raw emotion this game draws out of people is off the charts. The interaction is sublime. The components are beautiful. It really is amazing, and it might just be my favorite game I own. That's how much I think of this. The game is an absolute bargain to buy, and so if you have the adequate player count or the right kind of gaming group who would enjoy this kind of atmospheric and confrontational game, then I urge you to go and pick this up. It is amazing. So I hope my passion for the Resistance Avalon has come through in this video. I absolutely adore this game. So thank you for watching very much. This has been Chairman of the Board. Please stay tuned for the criteria breakdown of the Resistance Avalon. And if you've enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. I've been Dan Honeyball, and thank you for watching.